Sa feedback. Patay mo na yung cellphone. Nag-feedback yan. Ayan. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. We requested your presence here so that we can answer the questions about a few things that come up in the last few days. Specifically about Kenneth Duremdes, why he is here in the Bureau of Customs. Ayan. So this is not something that we just put up. It is a well-thought program. And I believe it is necessary. And I still believe that their presence here to do this contractual service is still necessary. Now, before we finally roll this program, there is a very intense debate between the several lawyers here, and then there is an issue of whether this can be done or not. So we anchored the program on the personnel development, which Attorney Anderson will explain the relevant laws regarding this matter. But even before putting up this program, bumunta po kami kay COA Chairman Aguinaldo, because any disallowances in personnel, COA po yung correct agency to address it. So pumunta kami sa kanya, I wrote a letter to him and seek an audience regarding this program. And then finally, he accepted us in his office. So we explained this to him. With me were Attorney Princess Ramirez and Attorney Carlo Marcaida and Attorney Arnel Alcaraz. So we discussed this issue with the COA head lengthily, and at the end of the discussion, he said that he cannot see any prohibition in doing it. That's why we go ahead with the program. So bago ko ipagpatuloy, there are multitask in the Bureau. I would like Attorney Anderson to discuss the relevant laws about personnel development.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm sure all of us know, na for every government organization or agency, Congress itself grants us budget for personnel development and training. So, this program of the Commissioner, which he calls the Sports Development Program, is actually for the personnel of the Bureau. It is anchored in on 4 goals. So first, sila po ni Sir Kenneth, si Sir Marlo, and the rest of the ex-PBA players or the retired PBA players, they were hired in order to promote unity and community within the Bureau of Customs. You know, when we came in, there was some sort of may chismis na there was a divide between the employees. So, yun, yung us joining the UNTV Cup, yung mga basketball games, volleyball games, that was the first time that we actually saw BOC employees come together for one cause. Second, physical fitness. As you all know, we at the Bureau of Customs are law enforcers. So we have customs police, we have intel officers, and masyadong hindi healthy yung work environment natin dito sa pier. So the Commissioner thought it wise that we encourage them to join in various sports activities. One of them is basketball, one is volleyball. We also have a shooting cup where our officers join in mga, what do you call it? Practical shooting training, which I myself do not really join. So those are some of the few things. We also have pala the fun runs, which Attorney Roy Lawagan coordinates. So these are just some of the activities to promote physical fitness and training in the Bureau of Customs. And third, yung mga ex-PBA players po natin, they also immerse themselves with the communities. They have gone to Cebu, to Davao, to Clark, among others, just to get the feedback of persons outside the Bureau and stakeholders in order for us to know whether we are disseminating our message of transform and of transformation to the people outside the Bureau. We cannot do this ourselves. Like, if you're within the Bureau of Customs, you cannot communicate this as effectively as they can. Kaya they've been a really good help to us. An example of this, yung Facebook post po yung Facebook page po namin. When we came in, there were less than 1,000 followers. No one cared about the Bureau of Customs. Pero when sila Sir Ken came in, we're now up to 200,000 followers. At least. So those are just a few points na I wanted to give to you.
I would like to add some of the multitask that these icons in their own field of expertise are doing in the Bureau. You know, this is the whole thing about this. When I assume office, I see one fact. In the past 117 years, the Bureau of Customs is isolated. Makarinig ka lang ng, I experienced this, makarinig lang ako ng taga-customs, kumukulo yung dugo ko sa galit. I don't think I'm not exception to the rest of the Filipino people. Why? Ba't ako nagagalit? Marinig ko lang taga-customs ka. Kasi what comes into my mind, napaka-kurap mo. So even the brightest, let's say, lawyer in the Bureau of Customs, a full-blooded employee in the Bureau of Customs, who knows everything about the Bureau of Customs, lalabas dyan sa community and try to explain to the people the reforms we are doing, I guarantee you, hindi lang siya hindi pakikinggan, babatuhin pa siya. So I believe that every reform we will institute in the Bureau will never succeed unless the Filipino people themselves supports it. So the first thing that we need to bridge is the gap between the Bureau of Customs and the Filipino people. And we need to bring in effective communicators. So iconic players like Kenneth Duremdes, Marlo Aquino, who have followers, millions of Filipino followers, because the Filipinos love basketball. Men and women, I believe, they love basketball. So when they stand, and by just wearing BOC basketball, they already command attention, and people will listen. By just saying, we are supporting the reforms in the Bureau, the people will start listening. The people will start engaging us. As explained by Attorney Anderson, the engagement between the people and the Bureau of Customs is now more active than before. That's why if you have noticed in the past participations we have had in the sporting events, whenever we won, sometimes it's Kenneth, sometimes it's Jerome, tinatanong, they always say, we are here to support the reforms in the Bureau of Customs. That's why if you can see, our theme in the sporting events we have had participated is BOC Transformers. See, their main goal here, again, is to bridge the gap between the Bureau of Customs and the Filipino people. Their other functions, of course, yung developing the physical fitness of our people. We are law enforcers, and then we need to be physically fit. And then yung kasama nila sa paglalaro, they are not all PBA players. In fact, four lang yata po sila of the 15. The rest are employees of the Bureau. They are in the police of the Bureau of Customs. So under that rule of UNTV Cup, I think these are from the UNTV, a team is allowed to get a former PBA as part of your team. That's why it is there where they fit in. But this is just one part of their so many tasks in the Bureau. Another thing is, in every law enforcement agencies in the world, and of course, let's look at the law enforcement agencies in the Philippines, armed forces, police. I came from the armed forces. It is embedded in the armed forces and in the police, a command. It's called civil military operations. What does this mean? In every enforcement of the law, there are people who have been affected by this enforcement. So the non-frontliners, when they move out, this organization, civil military group, will come in and explain why do we need to implement these laws. So in other words, again, still part of their bridging of the gap between the BOC and the civilian. That is what they are doing. They move around from province to province. They conduct clinics for the kids and dependents of the Bureau. At the same time, they listen, they engage the community and get feedback from the community. What are the sentiments of the Filipino people against the Bureau, and try to explain to them also the need of the Bureau for the people's support, so that these reforms every one of us want can really move forward. Again, with the emphasis that there will never be reform in the Bureau of Customs that will succeed without them, without the Filipino people's support. Yeah, and then finally they want, after a few months, they want to do another tasking in more seriously helping the Bureau as a technical assistance. Again, these are collection of data. Okay. One example of this, which is being spread all over the country. Why is EJ file and some of the PBA players are in the intelligence? They do not know. They do not know anything about intelligence. That is precisely they are there. Why? Because nobody expects them to be gathering information for the Bureau. So they are the most effective intelligence information gatherer because no one expects them to be there. But today they are no longer effective because it has been exposed. Their cover has been exposed. So they will never be effective. But prior to that, because nobody expects them to be part of that intelligence group, they are the most effective intelligence information gatherer because none of you will ever expect that they are part of that organization. So that is the concept of gathering informations. So I believe the multitaskings that they are doing for the Bureau has been very effective. It produces a lot of results. So I believe their presence here is necessary. That's why in the past 1 year, we developed our new infrastructure because it was not embedded in the infrastructure of this Bureau. If you will see the new infrastructure, structure, personnel structure, this sports development division has been organized and the civil military organization has been embedded. That is a necessary function of any law enforcement agency. That's why it is already there. We have submitted this new personnel structure at the Department of Finance a month ago. So that is how important this is, and they will continue to contract services of such very important function. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us? Yes, ma'am.
We have noticed now that their contract is no longer renewed. If, as you say so earlier, if they are performing important tasks, like on the aspect of physical fitness, that wouldn't be under the contract.
Ma'am, can I answer that? It's not yet renewed because it hasn't been signed by the commissioner yet. Some members of the media asked kasi for the current status of it. But they will be renewed. Yes, yes. Another point I want to raise is that with the advent of the new CMTA law, sila Sir Ken have been helping us with information dissemination din. You know, for the past few weeks, the Balikbayan box has been giving us a hassle. So sila Sir Ken, and I think you will all be excited to know that they will be starring in our new infographic series. Any more questions?
Ma'am, like what Commissioner Faeldon was explaining that before, how come hindi sila na-employ under a sports development program office, but you're saying na bago lang po ba?
Yes po, ma'am. The only office we have with regards to personal development is the internal training division. What this division does is merely organize seminars po. But for physical fitness, sports development, wala po silang mandate. So ngayon lang po. Yes.
Well, actually, their employment is under contract of service. Para silang contractual. So, hindi sila maka-perform ng mga functions ng organic personnel. No? So, parang lang sila, support, no? Support staff sila. So, they can do things like data gathering, mga ganun. But yung things that require discretion, no? Like things being performed by organic personnel, hindi po sila maka-perform ng ganun.
Another example would be these three, si Menchi Tobiera, si Parley Topaz, it's in your list. They're actually performing functions here in the Office of the Commissioner as receiving officers. So they receive documents, compile them, scan them, yung mga ministerial functions lang. As,
How much ba yung salary ng technical assistant?
Which one? The one I mentioned?
For example, si Sir Kenneth, technical assistant.
Si Sir Kenneth po, yung contract rate niya ngayon is 45,000?
Less na yun.
Less tax, so it'll go down to around 38,000, 39. Yun na po yung pinakamahal. Yung pinakamura po may 20,000 or pinakamura is
20,000.
20,000 pinakamura. Less tax pa, so it'll go down to mga 17,000 or 18,000.
Pero sir, alam talaga tayo na magkaroon ng ganito. Like, parang kasi yung Air Force, yung Navy, pero parang kasama mo talaga mismo parang enlist sila as regular troops, parang gano'n. So, ganun din ba yung basis na dito?
During the competition, yes, organic yung majority. But the role of UNTV is we can include in the team an import of ex-PBA players na at least 5 years nang inactive in professional basketball. So that's just as far as including them in the team. That's why during the UNTV Cup, the Armed Forces is part of it also. They have ex-imports, the Coast Guard, the police, and so many other government agencies participated in that UNTV Cup where we participated. So the rule applies to all of us. So they all employed they all contracted services of some ex-PBA in that aspect. But that is not just the role of these icons in the BOC. It's the biggest role that they're really doing is to really bridge that gap between the BOC and the Filipino people. It is really, they're really underpaid as far as I'm concerned because we cannot get a more effective communicator that we can pay that small, 50,000 a month. That's very small as far as their effectiveness in bridging the gap between the BOC and the Filipino people. So, in my personal view, Sir Kenneth, Sir Marlo Aquino are really underpaid because they have other tasks to perform. They are multitasked in the Bureau.
So are you going to hire all of them?
Yes po, ma'am. Actually now, most of them have resigned. Eliza Valdez has resigned because 3 months lang po si Eliza.
And the volleyball players are not.
Other than those three, yung
Everyone else will have their contract renewed.
sila, Sir Kenneth, si Sir Marlo Aquino, si EJ File, si Sir Jerome, they will have their contracts renewed.
But out of this 27, how many of them will be renewed? New contract?
Because as I mentioned to you earlier, not all of these are basketball players, ha. They're already assigned in different offices. So, as far as the XPBA players are concerned, we will be renewing them.
How about the others, ma'am? Like the one performing as data encoder in Cebu?
We have to check. We have to check because all of these job orders are being recommended or endorsed to the office of the commissioner through their deputy commissioners. So as of now, I don't know the status of their contracts.
Some of them, or most of them, are already employees of the bureau, contractual. They have a contractual service with the bureau when we arrive at the bureau. So they were selected to be part of the team because there's a rule in the game of UNTV. You must be at least 32 years old and have served the bureau for 2 years. Yun yung role. So most of this organic the contractual service ay dati na po silang contractual ng BOC. Dahil hindi sila pwedeng i-hire mo ngayon tapos kasama sila sa team.
Paano sila i-evaluate kung i-renew yung kontrata nila?
That is what I am doing. That's why I need to see the performances of their job. Let's say, ito, nasunog na natin sila EJ File. Definitely, they'll no longer be effective agents. But prior to that, na na-expose sila, they have very seriously tried to learn the job of an intelligence agent. Nagsiseminar na po sila. Because they really want, some of them really want to be part of the bureau already. That's why they already started to learn the nitty-gritties of the jobs they want to join in the bureau. So nagtitraining na po sila. But now they can never be effective as they're so effective before because nobody from among you expects them to be part of that organization. And that is the most effective way of hiring people in the intelligence. When this person is hindi ka panipaniwalang nasa intelligence siya.
Anong klaseng requirements ang hiningi niyo sa kanila? Kailangan ba pumasa ng certain tests? Or
Ako kasi when I choose an agent to gather information, I want an agent that nobody believes you are an agent. That's the best qualification. Now, simple information that they gather, when it is processed, it may produce a very vital information that will help the bureau. So yun yung kagandahan nila because they can merge sa taong bayan. Marami silang kaibigan, marami silang naririnig. They can transcend from one audience to another audience and they can get feedbacks because they know they are with the bureau, they are playing basketball with the bureau, so people will volunteer informations to them so that they are very effective agents at that time before they were exposed. Now they can no longer be effective. Nobody's going to volunteer information to them anymore because an agent will not go there and yung James Bond. There's no such thing. Yeah, it's an innocent gathering information. That's really an effective agent.
So if you're saying, sir, that they're no longer effective to perform intelligence work, then if you're going to retire them, for what position?
I still have to evaluate what job they may fit in, aside from these several other tasks that they are performing right now. But even then, even by just developing the physical fitness program of the Bureau, which has never been there before, and it's very necessary because we are law enforcers, we need to be very physically fit. That will be enough. That will be enough. And they're not employees, they're contract of service. Once we have established physical fitness program, then their services may no longer be needed by the Bureau. Then there will be no need for their services to be rehired.
Can we hear from Mr. Menendez? How it feels to be working in the POC part of the organization?
Yes, magandang hapon po sa lahat. I'm proud to say that sa kadami-dami po ng mga ex-PBA players, nagtiwala po ang Bureau of Customs sa amin for being ambassador for goodwill. So, may mga task po kami na masayang ginagawa namin is because yung mga taong nakahalubilo namin for the first time nakita kami in person. And before, parang sinasabi lang, sa TV lang kami nakikita. So, pag mga ganun mga task namin, parang ni-enjoy na namin na yung mga tao pa lang to, gusto-gusto kami makita at makausap in person. So, marami kami mga activities na ginagawa. Like, pupunta po kami ng Cebu, Davao, to conduct, again, community services and basketball clinics na sa mga less fortunate children.
Sir, ano po yung okay lang naman may kwento nyo? Bukod po dito sa mga sports clinics, ano po yung pinarform nyo na trabaho dito sa Bureau sa pag-iingat?
Well, yung binabanggit nga kanina ni Kong, dahil first time po ulit na magkaroon ng mga physical fitness dito sa Bureau. And nakikita nila na parang yung mga employees nagkakaroon na ng camaraderie and unity dahil nandito po kami. Parang nakikita nila na yung mga players na to ay isa sa factor or isa sa way na magkaroon ulit ng magandang samahan dito sa Bureau.
Mga clerical works
Nasa office kasi kami ni Commissioner. So yung task po namin na ginagawa, lalo na ako, basically nakafocus po dun sa sa community services, community works. Thank you.
And if may I add, sir, ma'am, actually, sina Coach Kenneth, sila po yung nag-assist sa atin before na mag-conduct ng mga community relations like sa mga fun run. They are the ones who are teaching us on how, kung paano po natin makukuha yung mga suporta ng mga taong bayan para po suportahan yung transformation na programa po ng Bureau of Customs.
We will release to you compilations of interviews these icons in the sports have proclaimed. Because in the past, when we participated in the UNTV Cup, whenever we won, Kenneth or the other PBA players were interviewed, and you can always hear them say, "We are here to support the reforms in the Bureau." They always mention that. From the very start, they joined the Bureau because that's really one of their main mission is to encourage the people to support the reforms we are putting in place here. And their salary is so small compared to the impact they are delivering to the people. That's why I would like everyone to please think these people are being paid 50,000 pesos a month for this humongous multitask they're doing for our country. So I will continue to employ them because I actually beg them, please help me because we need you. We cannot reform the Bureau without the people's support. So I will continue to beg them to stay and help in the reforms of the Bureau.
Was the Finance Secretary supportive of this project?
Yes, I informed him that we are participating in these sporting events. But again, the rest of the players are not PBA. I think there are just 4. And those are already employed here. They are police of the BOC. They are performing other jobs in the different ports. So the ex-PBA players are just 4. And then these are the face of the transformation we are doing. They really help so much in bridging this gap between the Bureau and the Filipino people.
So, parang di ba, they were hired para na tulungan kayo pagandahin yung imahe ng customs. Tapos ngayon parang medyo, siyempre nalalagyan ng mali siya, natin. Sabi na sa paglabas nga ng dokumento, ano yung reaction nyo ngayon medyo kasi sa social media, medyo hindi rin maganda yung dating sa mga kababayan natin.
I think that's normal when hindi pa nila nakita yung importance. Now that we have spoken to you and when the people will understand why they are here, I think they'll understand why they need to stay. Because again, ulitin ko, can you imagine a full-blooded customs official trying to reach out to the people? Will you even stop and try to listen to that employee for just a second? I don't believe any one of us will even stop and listen. But then, talking about Bureau of Customs, I am sure there are millions of supporters when they were still active in the sports. We'll give them at least few seconds to listen to them. And that is what we are so helpless. We need our help. We need their help to do that. So again, this is a group of effective communicators to bridge this gap between the Bureau of Customs and the Filipino people. That is one of their biggest tasks, but it's not written in their function, but it's part of the other tasks that they will perform. And if you can see, they're so seen. So this is not something that we are hiding. In fact, we display them all over the country. So I do not see why some sectors are trying to put some malice in this very, very necessary program for the Bureau.
So sa na rin, siguro yung time na rin para i-iterate nyo na siguro sabihin nila, BBA player nga, i-play out din ng customs. Baka naman kami, pwede rin mag-apply. Pero di ba, may mass hiring din yata kayong plano doon sa...
Yes, they're not employee. I have to correct that. There's no employer-employee relationship. They're contract of service people. Now, sa ating mga kababayan, we have unfilled positions. These are plantilla. These are now regular employees. 3,000 po to. So again, I'm calling those who are interested to join the Bureau as part of those who will be helping us to reform this Bureau. By October 1 or first week of October, the first class of the Customs Academy will resume. 150 students will be selected to join that class 1 of the Customs Academy. So if you are college graduate with civil service eligibility or PRC license, you are qualified. So please apply. We have the details of how to apply in our website and Facebook. So we encourage everyone so that the pool of applicants will be bigger. Thank you very much. The UNTV Cup, the center of this discussion. Yes, ma'am.
Your other issues just like to ask about this. You're being challenged to expose the names of the government officials who are trying to influence the promotion board.
No, I really don't want to talk about it because during the congressional meeting, I said, if you give me executive meeting, I will name the name, but they did not give executive meeting. So I do not want to public embarrass people.
Part of the job. Kaya kami nandito para tulungan sa bureau na to. Again, to reform.